Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Hope you're all doing well. Please excuse my nasally voice. That is also why this video is probably going out late. I'm trying to recover from some kind of virus, but it's all good. We can still talk about a topic. I have my big cup of tea here. So today I want to talk to you about rates. Within the translation industry, whenever someone refers to low rates, it's almost a meme. We always talk about these people that offer 3 cents per word. We can't compete with them. The 3 cents per word thing is kind of a meme in the industry. It's always, unfortunately, people go even lower. People work for 1 cent. People ask for, I've even seen requests for a fraction of a cent, which, I don't even want to address. We don't even spend our energy and our brain power on these requests. So I just wanted to think about what 3 cents per word actually means. So next time someone asks you to work for 3 cents a word, instead of formulating a big response why this doesn't work, why this is not feasible to you, you could just link my video and tell them, look, watch for yourself what that actually means, what you're offering. So when you're a newbie and you're getting into the industry, you might wonder, you're asking yourself, what should I charge? And then you hear 3 cents a word. Okay, so if I translate 1,000 words to 30 euro, that's 30 euros or dollar. 3,000 words, that's $90. That's easy money, right? It's not that easy. I want to break it down to you today with actual calculations, what that means. For that purpose, let's go with a quite optimistic calculation, right? So it could even be worse, but let's keep it realistic and optimistic. So let's say you can probably translate about 500 words an hour on average. Some people can do more, some can do less. It depends a lot on your seniority, on your experience, on the subject matter, how much research you have to do on the topic. But let's say 500 words an hour is not a bad average. Now, it's important to keep in mind that translation is a mentally very demanding job to do, right? So it's very rare that you can actually do 8 hours a day actual translation work. Something more realistic is probably 5-6 hours. I'm leaning more towards 5 a day, but let's actually calculate now with 6 hours a day for a more optimistic calculation. But that would, this hypothetical situation would mean that you have enough work for 6 hours a day, focused translation work without interruption. Often that's not actually the case, but let's just take an average and let's go with that. 500 words an hour, you translate for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week for 3 cents a word. So if you do 500 words times 3 cents, that's $15 an hour. Now, that might sound like a good hourly rate for some people, horrible for other people. Keep in mind, that's not your hourly rate. That's your revenue that would come in. That's not your salary, right? Now, let's calculate further. 6 hours a day. So 15 times 6 is $90 a day. You work 5 days a week. That's $450 revenue a week. Let's multiply that by 4 because most months have 4 weeks. So we can take that as an average for our calculation. And we arrive at a total of $1,800 a month. Now keep in mind, as I said, that's not salary. That's a revenue that you earned gross per month. What happens now? The tax man comes, the social security man comes, or woman, I don't know why I say man, but the authority come, let's say, and a lot of overhead costs are coming into play. Your tools, your marketing time, your accounting time, your sick days. I could speak from experience. I don't think I would work if I was employed. Maybe today I would work, but definitely not yesterday. And I still worked as a self-employed person because if you don't work, you're not paid. So within your prices should also be your sick leave calculated, your holidays. So what do we subtract from these 1,800? We subtract taxes, social security, healthcare, vacation days, sick days, marketing time, accounting time, anything not paid, anything related to, I don't know, maternity leave, paternity leave, if you have to take care of a loved one. And of course, like emergencies, there's always something happening. If you're moving house, something is always happening that you can't work, right? So a conservative but relatively accurate estimate is probably to subtract 45% of that gross revenue that you make a month that just disappears and is not actually yours. If you come from a country that is paid salaries in net, and you're just used to receiving what you get is yours, that can be quite confusing. For me, I come from Switzerland where you're always paid gross, and then at the end of the year you have to deal with your own taxes. So I'm quite used to that. I know what comes to my account is not technically mine. But you have to get used to that as a translator, as a freelancer, because if you spend all your money that comes in, you will have trouble at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year, worst case. So if we subtract the 45% of the $1,800 a month, we end up somewhere between $900 and $1,000 actual salary. Now, naturally, this is a very, location and personality dependent question, whether that's enough, whether that's good, whether that's bad. For me, it's bad. It's not sustainable. I could never work and live my life on $900 to $1,000 a month. I also don't think that's what we should strive for, because that's really in most countries below the minimum salary. And that's not why we studied years for, and we specialized in very niche topics to then work for peanuts, right? And it's important to show that to the client as well, because they might not know. They might just offer you 3 cents per word because they think that's the industry standard. But then when you actually break it down, what it means to them, and as I said, that's an optimistic view, right? Most people don't have that much work to have 6 hours focused translation work. There's so much you have to do in between to find new clients, to negotiate, etc. Mostly the focused work that you're actually doing, if you have enough, is maybe 4 or 5 hours. So now, contrary to that, let's do a quick calculation of the same thing that I just said, but with 10 cents per word, which I think should be the minimum for any translation work, the absolute minimum, because then we can actually speak of a salary. We can actually use that term. So if we have 10 cents per word, 500 words per hour, we're at $50 an hour, times 6 is $300 a day, times 5 is $1,500 a week, times 4 is $6,000 a month revenue. Subtract the 45% of all the bunch of stuff that I mentioned before, and we end up somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 a month, which we can actually then call a salary, right? So for me, it's a strict rule. I would never go under 10 cents. I did that since the beginning. I've probably worked 1 or 2 projects below, like for 8 cents in the beginning, but that was always, I knew I had in my mind or in my heart, I just knew I don't want to go below 10, and that has worked throughout my career. And now, luckily, with my clients, I don't need to worry about that anymore usually. Anyways, I'm trying to move away from the per word calculation. That's another topic entirely. If you really want to scale your business and become a language expert and an industry specialized expert in the field, you should charge per hour or per project or on a retainer. So I'm trying to move most of my clients, and definitely the new clients, I don't even talk about the per word rate. And the cool thing about it with direct clients, they don't really care, right? They don't know about the industry usually. So if you don't bring per word rates up, then they usually don't know about it. So that's a good tip. If you negotiate with direct clients, I would not even go into that negotiation. Like it's going to cost you 12, 15, 16 cents a word. Just tell them how much time it will take you, what this will cost the client, and then there is no question about it. I hope this video was useful. Make sure to send it to your clients if you ever get a request for 3 cents a word. And I see you next Monday, hopefully a bit more energetic and back to my usual self. Thanks for all the support on the channel lately. I really appreciate everyone watching, and I see you next Monday. Bye-bye.